On Story is brought to you in part by the Alice Clayburgh Reynolds Foundation, a Texas family providing innovative funding since 1979. On Story, presented by Austin Film Festival, a look inside the creative process from today's leading writers and directors. This week's On Story, a conversation with the writer-director behind the Shawshank Redemption, The Green Mile, and The Mist, Frank Darabont.
I always say that any movie, there's half of it is art, and the other half is mechanics. You know, you can build the most fantastic looking car body, but unless you have the engine, the transaxle, and the linkages, and the wheels, you're not going to go anywhere.
In this episode, Frank Darabont discusses adapting works by Stephen King and keeping his characters at the core of the story.
I worked for a guy named Chuck Russell. Chuck and I had decided to try to write a remake of The Blob. And as I'm doing a final polish on it, Chuck bursts into his apartment and he says, "I just came from a meeting at New Line. They're shooting Nightmare on Elm Street 3 in 3 weeks. They don't have a director, and the script doesn't work. And I just pitched them how to fix the script, and if we can give them a script in 10 days, I'm going to direct the movie." And we locked ourselves in for 10 days, and we wrote this script. And a couple of weeks later, Chuck was on the set calling action. And then suddenly that lent me the credibility to start getting solo work. Our relationship began when I wrote him a letter. He had a short story that I wanted to make a movie out of. It's probably on YouTube. For God's sakes, please don't watch it. And I sent him a Dear Mr. King letter. My friends and I would like to try and make this short film out of this short story of yours. And he, because he is a great human being and believes in giving back his success, said, yes, go ahead, see what happens. It took me 3 years to direct this movie. It was a 30-minute short on 16. And he liked the movie. He liked the result of it, which is, I think, a very generous thing, because I can't watch it now. But right about the time that my screenwriting career began with Nightmare on Elm Street 3, I was already thinking ahead and thinking, well, I'd like to bank something as a possible directing project. And so I wrote him another letter and asked him if I could have Shawshank Redemption. And he said, yeah, I loved your short film. Here, go ahead. So 5 years of holding on to the rights, I finally felt capable enough as a writer, having developed my chops all those 5 years, to actually tell my agent not to call me. I'm not going to do some rewrite on the next action movie, the kind of work that I was doing. I'm going to sit down and write this script, because this is my hoped for directing entree. The Green Mile and Shawshank are magnificent stories told by a master storyteller. I was given those stories to reinterpret. I find it's just like directing. You know, it's such a hard task that it's the love for what you're doing for that material that gets you through it. And when I adapt, for example, Stephen King, his storytelling sensibilities, how he writes the characters and the situations and how the story unfolds, I think is sort of brilliant. And I'm simpatico with his intentions, which is why I think we've been a pretty good pairing. And when I do adapt, I try to remember always, I try never to stray too far away from Steve's intentions, as I understand them as his reader, for the story that he's telling. You know, I don't want to just jettison something wholesale and come up with my own thing. For example, the James Whitmore character in Shawshank was mentioned in one sentence of the book. He wasn't actually a character in the story. To me, that character was the fulcrum between Andy and Red, between Tim and Morgan. As characters, he was actually the thematic spine of the movie, as I perceived it, you know, tilting between despair and hope. There was the James Whitmore character providing an example to these men. Without that character, I don't think I could have told the story.
Put the knife down! Brooks, look at his neck, for God's sake. Brooks, look at his neck. He's bleeding.
It's the only way they'd let me stay.
Come on, this is crazy. You don't want to do this. Come on, put it down.
I tend to love a certain character type. It's the one that I keep drawing, and it wasn't something I consciously, you know, tried to engineer from the start, but as you do enough work, you start to realize you go back to a certain kind of character as the guy you like the best in your story. And the guy I tend to love the best is the guy who's trying to find his moral center. You know, in Shawshank, you know, Tim Robbins has a certitude to him that creates a distance. You know, I don't necessarily love that character. I dig him, I'm intrigued by him, and I love trying to figure him out. But the guy I really love is Morgan Freeman, and in that sense, he's the lead of the movie, really.
What are you talking about?
Hope.
Hope. Let me tell you something, my friend. Hope is a dangerous thing. Hope can drive a man insane. It's got no use on the inside. You better get used to that idea.
Like Brooks did.
He's the guy trying to find the path. He's the least certain, you know. He's trying to find the best, you know, the best reading on his moral compass, and like he's like making sense of his life. We're all like searching and seeking, aren't we, really? And so that tends to be my favorite kind of character. You know, I thought it was one of the most lovely, you know, stories of the rarest kind. It's a love story between two friends who are male friends. I mean, you know, you don't really get that much. As Tim Robbins once said, you don't get a story of male friendship, brotherhood, you know, without there being a caper or a car chase, you know, or explosions involved. You don't, you know, you get the buddy thing, but you don't often get this thing that is just very pure unto itself. And given that by then I was very, very hungry to do character-driven stories, I mean, I always was, but, you know, I'd been trapped in the rewrite this sort of, you know, action thing in my career. I was really ready to do that, and I loved it. And I thought the plot was awesome. I loved it. I loved the plot because it was so subtle a plot that you didn't realize there was a plot until there was a plot. You know, I thought Steve pulled a really cool trick there. You put you in this world that you really liked being in, and he wasn't showing you his hand until it was time to. And I thought, well, you know, well, that's different for a movie. That's a different approach to something. You know, it is actually a very plot-driven movie, but not in the obvious way, and not in the overriding way, not in the way that gets in the way of the characters and the themes in the thing. Because Shawshank wasn't even successful when it first came out. We had to wait for the audience to come to us, which was an unusual and rare thing. I was delighted with The Mist to actually get back to my roots and make what I considered to be a horror movie. I kind of did it in reverse. You know, usually people will make a low-budget horror movie and then work their way up to, you know, trying to make a drama like Shawshank. I put the cart before the horse, and finally just had to go back because I loved that story so much, The Mist. You know, it was like time to make it. I had a divergence from the source material that was a little extreme at the end. But it was the one ending that made sense to me. So I wrote this ending, and I sent it to him with a note saying, I've come up with an ending. It's a little bit unexpected, I think. If you hate it, I'm not going to make this movie. You tell me. And he sent me this awesome email, and he said, I wish I'd thought of this ending because I like it better than what I wrote. Go out and it's going to be a very hard project to get set up because it's not a happy ending, and it's in fact the opposite of a happy ending, dour, pissed off ending. So, good luck getting it made, but even if you have to do it really cheaply, go make it, because I want to see it. He said, I like this ending. It's a ballsy ending. It might hurt us at the box office, but if you can make it for this smaller amount of money than what other people have offered you, as long as you change the ending, go make your movie. And bless his heart, that's how I got to make the film. So we did a screening at the Alamo Drafthouse of The Mist, and Steve King actually flew in for it. Wow. He is a dedicated friend, let me tell you. He flew in for it, and he was sitting next to me during the movie, and there's a moment when they've gone to the pharmacy and gotten their asses kicked by these spiders, and we cut back to the supermarket, and everybody's waiting, and it's quiet, and they're stressing, and their friends aren't coming back, and suddenly Bill Sadler, it's the oldest, cheapest trick in the horror movie book. Will you not do that? I'm sorry. And Stephen King jumped 3 feet in the air next to me. And when he came back down, he did this. And I was like, yeah, I got Steve King.
You've been watching a conversation with writer-director Frank Darabont on Story. Next up, filmmaker Jeffrey DeChausse and his short film, Anniversario.
Hi, my name is Jeffrey DeChausse, and I am the writer-director of the short film, Anniversario. This whole story comes from me getting a haircut when I was working in Buenos Aires before, and I walked into the salon, and here these two guys came out, very eccentric, gay hairdressers, and they cut my hair and sang and danced, and I walked out, and I put that together with another story I had in my head of an old couple, and kind of went on from there. So that's where it came up from. It came from a haircut. It was really important for me to tell this story. I just think because it was a really kind of nice, kind of, intricate, tragic, funny love story, and I just thought it was kind of a really nice kind of roller coaster of emotions and very different characters in one world. And, just really over the top and very sentimental, very funny and very sad. And I just thought that was kind of a really cool thing to kind of carry the audience through this journey of emotions.
Mi hermana volvió a llamar.
¿Qué te dijo?
¿Qué me va a decir? Que lo vayamos a buscar.
Pero te dije que le digas que en todo caso en la primavera podemos ir para allá, nada más que eso.
Ya van 3 años que me decís respecto a la primavera.
¿No puede venir ella a visitarnos?
No quiero que hablemos más de eso. Pasarme a buscar a las 8.
¡Carmela! ¡Carmela! ¡Qué gusto verte, querida!
Ay,
sí, vamos.
Y sí, porque
Lindísimo,
¿qué hago
sí.
sin ustedes?
Cuidado. Bien, recibe tu cartera. Eso es. Ahí va.
Sí, mira, porque estoy horrible, mira.
Ahí está.
Arreglo, necesito que me hagas de todo, mira, porque
Tipo así, como que te agarramos un poquito.
cosmética, porque las arrugas son implacables. En las manos, elemental. Porque, bueno, hoy es mi 45 aniversario y a las...
¡45!
Y a las 8 me viene a buscar mi marido.
¡A las 8!
Ay, cómo me
Sí.
encantaría durar
ok.
tanto tiempo con alguien.
Ni sabes lo que dices.
Ay, me encantaría que alguien me quisiera cuando llegue a viejo. Mi peor miedo es llegar a viejo, feo y solo. Ay, tienes mucha suerte.
Lo hubiera abandonado 20 veces, pero me enamoré otra 100.
Ah,
Tan, ta, 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 tan, tan. ¡Ay, ya, bien! ¿Qué color te gustaría entonces pintarte las uñas?
Rosa, me encanta el rosa.
Ok.
Es más,
Ay,
pintaría mi
sí.
casa de rosa.
Entiendo. Primero vamos a hacer esto. A ver. ¿Sí? Hagamos acá. Ahí está. ¿Estás bien ahí?
A ver, espera que me acomodo.
Ok, ahí estás, perfecto. Hacemos así, otros 30 minutitos, así que relájate y déjate empapar de belleza, ¿sí? Bien. Ay, Carmela, linda.
ok, querida. Bueno, ahora vamos a dejarte igual de linda a Marilyn Monroe. Así que, bueno, vamos, párate. Carmela. Carmela.
¿Qué pasó? ¿Pero qué hiciste? ¿Pero por qué gritaste?
No sé, mira. Mírala.
Anda a llamar a alguien por teléfono ya. Ya, por favor. Que venga alguien, urgente. ¿Camila?
Aló, señor. Tengo una señora muerta acá en el negocio. No, no sé, no.
Basta.
¿Qué estás haciendo?
Corta, por favor, se nos fue, Pepe.
No.
¿Entendés? Se nos fue. No
¿Qué
podemos
vamos a hacer entonces?
No lo sé.
Dime, ¿qué quieres que haga entonces?
Ok, lo entiendo, pero déjame pensar. Algo se me va a ocurrir.
¿Y ahora qué vamos a hacer?
No lo sé, Pepe. No lo sé. Oscar va a venir en menos de una hora. Tenemos que terminar lo que empezamos.
¿De qué estás hablando?
De que tenemos que dejarla bellísima. Tenemos que terminar de dejarla inmaculada, linda, preciosa, ¿entendés?
¿Estás loco?
No, se supone que es el día de ellos. No la va a ver nunca más. Es el último día de su vida que la ve. Tenemos que terminarlo. Pepe, Tenemos que acabar lo que empezamos.
Es completamente loco, ¿no me entiendes? Estás completamente loco.
Te quiero.
Quedó hermosísima.
¿Crees que Dios dejaría entrar primero a gente tan hermosa?
Sí, claro. Carmela es divina. Estoy seguro de que si Dios hiciera una fiesta, la sentaría al lado de él.
¡Oscar! ¡Vamos! ¡Vamos!
Creo que deberíamos ir a visitar a tu hermana. Porque sé que eso es lo que más te gusta. Pero, además, ¿sabes qué? Quiero que me disculpes por mis promesas no cumplidas. Y decirte que valoro todo lo que me aguantaste estos años. En serio. Vos sacaste todo lo mejor de mí. La tremenda alegría que siento de tenerte a mi lado. Eso. Mira, yo pensaba que ya que vamos para la casa de tu hermana, pasamos por Mar del Plata, que fue donde estuvimos para nuestra luna de miel y nos quedamos ahí uno o 2 días. ¿Mm? ¿Qué te parece? ¿Y Carmela? Carmela, ¿qué te parece? ¿Qué pasa?
Lo sentimos, Oscar.
No, pero por favor, dígame qué es lo que pasa. No entiendo nada.
Lo sentimos, es que no lo sabemos. De repente dejamos de respirar. Lo sentimos, Oscar.
Siempre vamos a recordar a Carmela como una amada esposa, hermana y amiga. Ella tocó el corazón de todos nosotros. Que en paz descanse. Amén. Pueden ir en paz.
For more On Story, check out our free podcast at onstory.tv or search the iTunes Store and get the book today, On Story, Screenwriters and Their Craft, on Amazon.